So I guess we can start with the podcast like officially, even though like we are podcasting for like freaking 2 hours.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome.
Okay, hi, welcome. This is Elden Ring Podcast that has absolutely no name. In the top left corner, we have our fellow gamers from YouTube and Twitch. And we are going to talk about cheat engine. If cheat engine is actually a good thing, it is a bad thing. My question is how every single of you individually think like about cheat engine, if this is overall something that is positive for the game or negative for the game, starting with, I'm just gonna go with the list from the bottom. Let's start with Oro.
So, cheat engine, obviously super controversial, but I think that it's become not a necessity, but a part of like building characters on PC for the PvP community for sure. It can take hours and hours and hours and hours to make a ready PvP character, and cheat engine is a nice way to do that very quickly. Technically you're not cheating, you're just speeding up the process. There's nothing that you're doing that another player can't do unless you're actually cheating with it. I'm assuming that you're using cheat engine to gain levels and armor and stats you can get within the game, right?
Yeah, of course, but like I am also getting, for example, stuff like meat dumplings that I have in the amount of 600 versus like the regular gamer that going through the game is going to have them in the amount of 30 at max. And there is a question, because I personally think of myself as in these games, like as I am just a cheater. I absolutely do cheat. Like I see cheat engine as form of the cheating, although I see it in the way that it is kind of necessary cheating for the sake of so this game can be enjoyably playable. So what you think about it?
I agree with you there. I don't think there's a way that we can say, okay, yeah, that's not cheating. No matter what, it is a form of cheating. However, again, it's cheating for convenience sake and not for actually cheating against other players. But there's definitely like a sort of a gray lines there where 99 divine blessings, no one's gonna farm those or get those and stuff like that. For the big thing about cheat engine, for the bigger picture, honestly, I avoid playing on PC because of cheat engine's existence. People will cheat, they'll stream snipe me, they'll ruin my game,
actually
ruin my stream even more.
I'm gonna interrupt you quickly. Do you guys had any experience with cheaters on the PC recently? Because since the patch 1.08, I have seen no one, not even a single soul, that would try to body move with the cheat engine, or like anyone just chilling and doing some weird stuff with the cheat engine.
The most I've seen is a stat cheater in Liurnia.
It's fascinating. Not on stream, but I was experimenting with a few things, and I invaded in Liurnia, and I invaded a person that forced me to backstab them. I was teleported from far away into the guy. I backstabbed him and was like, what?
Did you ever attempt any time in that session to backstab him before?
Maybe it's a while ago now, but he drew me back in. So it was clear this was clearly a cheater. But I haven't really had any issues with anything malicious since very early on, where there was like one guy who tried to get a little bit of attention. But nothing much.
Yuji wasn't playing on the PC recently at all, no?
Yeah, but Vale, my friend Vale though would get a lot of cheaters though very often.
But I mean recently, because Vale is not playing since 1.08 March, because he's in the Europe currently.
Yeah, so I can't really speak of that. I can speak of Dark Souls 3 though. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you know what? We can get to it, but it's gonna take a while. So
I can't really speak much about cheaters on PC, but I can weigh in a little bit about cheat engine. I think cheat engine is like one of the big reasons why I don't like PC as much. I don't like the fact that you can play online and encounter people that just straight up have so many there's like so many things you can cheat on PC as opposed to console. I I like a more like closed and severe ecosystem to where there's not much you can do in terms of game alteration. With that said, though, it's probably very common to have like save editing on console anyway, so it do be like that.
Basically, you know, we know From Software is incompetent with their anti-cheat systems. Okay, to put it mildly.
Put it mildly. Okay.
Slightly incompetent.
Slightly.
They don't know how to combat cheaters. They just don't. They throw easy anti-cheat. It does fuck all. You know, they're still super cheaters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't protect anything. The fact of the matter is, PC players rely on these player-made anti-cheat systems, these anti-cheat mods. If you guys see Blue Sentinel, Blue Acolyte,
Watchdog on Dark Souls 1.
We rely on the player base and the modding community to actually make proper anti-cheat for PC, and that's where I think PC version becomes like nice to play on as well.
I just want to be fair to From Software that they actually try in Elden Ring, and they are actively making the changes for the sake of cheating through the cheat engine is limited. Like, for example, if you are going to put wrong ash on your weapon, like, for example, unsheath on Gags, then Gags is going to disappear. The myth about From Software not listening is just that. It is just a myth. They do listen. It's just they are poor listeners. Yeah.
And we're not delivering the information. I feel like, what is it? People, we complain about these things all the time. And obviously, like, you know, if you're criticizing the game, you don't need to be like, okay, but why aren't you doing anything about it, right? Obviously, like, you're just a player. But if you're in the community, like, it feels like people just generally complain about networking issues and stuff like this. They don't really pin down the issues. The same thing with balancing and glitches. And then they sort of are just surprised when they don't get fixes. But then when you actually do deliver feedback and you do show specific issues, surprise, surprise, if the information reaches them, eventually they actually do get to it.
It's kind of like everything is so corporative. Let's call it that way. Yeah, that like you have to go through this door for the sake of to contact that. Then this like a department is gonna go to the another one, gonna inform them, and then like, you know, at some point maybe the information is going to be delivered to the developer.
Boss, do you think we could infiltrate FromSoft with some only feed?
That sounds like a good idea.
I would 100% pour myself out for just a little bit of communication. Just one person that I could talk to in the actual From Software audiences or offices. And hell, there would be feed pics, hand pics, left test pics, whatever they need, right?
You know what I adore about like what happened here? Lost is super quiet for the last 20 minutes. Jeenine mentions feed pics. Look what happens. You enabled the gamer. Okay, continue, Lost. Yeah, please go on.
All right, okay. Well, pics. I would send finger pics. I would send beard pics, both off and on. I would shave every single part of my body and take a picture if they really wanted to. I would sit in a jar of jam completely in order to get just a little bit of maybe for 20 words. How about that? I would sit in a jar of jam, and as long as I could send them 20 words and they would actually read these words, I would go completely and run through a field filled with murder hornets if they just talk to me. You know what I would say? Buff hammers!
Back to the topic of cheat engine.
Cheat engine is good for people who want to make builds quickly, but don't have the time for it. I think that's fine. Honestly, I think that's okay.
So can we like boil it down to the fact that the game just doesn't provide lots of cool features for people to just want to play this game in the way that they want to exist in it, like in the meaning that they want to contribute to the PvP, they want to contribute to co-op, they want to do cool stuff in there. Like, we do not have like a easy way in the game itself for the sake of to, for example, gather the upgrading stones and so on. It is like, what is that boils to? Like, because like we do not have that convenience in these games. Because of that, like cheat engine might be just considered a good thing.
Yeah.
Lost, I know you're actually, or more like I heard, you're actually a big enjoyer of the cheat engine. Why?
What is it? 15 alt band in DS3.
Yes, I
Okay, tell me
in Dark Souls 3, I have over 20 bans because of cheat engine. I use it to make videos, I use it to create thumbnails, and I'm a lazy asshole, and so I do something, and then of course I get banned. I took steps to avoid that in Elden Ring, so that's great. But when it comes to cheat engine, I can understand that it gives a certain advantage. You mentioned the meat dumpling steal, that's one. And then there are all of the different items that you need to farm that can be an absolute bitch to farm. But I cannot remove myself from my perspective of a content creator because it literally makes my job so much easier.
Okay. So from the content creator, it is indeed like something that is beneficial for us. But try to put yourself in place of actual just regular player.
Well, I do have a few rules that I have, put myself in. For example, I didn't use any cheat engine until I managed to get 2 of each weapon. I got all the weapons in Elden Ring twice on one character before I made use of cheat engine because I wanted to make sure that I didn't do anything that wouldn't just be speeding up the process. I have created a save file and I have that with all of the things I need. I do not think it is a huge impact on the PvE players. I do think it's a small impact on the PvE players, but nothing that will truly ruin a person's experience. I personally haven't experienced anything that would make me go, oh, that guy is using cheat engine, and oh, that is so annoying, because I wouldn't be able to do that any other way. I haven't really experienced that at all. I think overall it is healthier for the game to have cheat engine as it is used now, because it allows the PvP community to try more things and express themselves more. It is a slight trade-off, but ultimately I think we end up with more good than bad.
Every single of us definitely has its kind of own let's call it a moral code when it comes to using the cheat engine, because every single of us using cheat engine. Let's make it clear. But like,
except for G.
G also was using for the build making.
In DS3 maybe?
In Dark Souls 3 I used it once before Honest Merchant was a thing.
Okay.
I deleted cheat engine when Honest Merchant came out. Yeah.
Okay, but Honest Merchant is basically, you are using these two for the same purpose, for the build making, for speeding up the process.
You can't,
I would not, though, if I was only playing on one platform. There's a time saver aspect when you have to do it on 2 platforms, not just one. Like, that becomes like a bit abusive.
From your perspective, it's just like kind of immoral that if you have time for like doing something legitimately, then you're supposed to do it legitimately, or what?
No, not if you have time. Like, more like if cheat engine was not a thing, I think it would be better. Like, if it just didn't exist, I would prefer it so that everyone is on the same page and has to actually play the game. But it's not the case. I just like to live in the current reality. So if we have a tool available, I'll use it, even if it's not necessarily my preferred way of doing things. But you have to do what you got to do. But that's pretty much it.
But come on, Oro.
Yeah, I would like to chime in real quick. This is coming from, again, this is like content creator PvP perspectives. To play devil's advocate here, I would say, what about someone who doesn't have time to necessarily go through the game and make a bunch of builds for different characters? I mean,
I would recommend them to download Cheat Engine.
Yeah. That's the thing. We said that Cheat Engine
it's a game.
Yeah,
that's the game. It is literally the game. The game is to play. Like, you need to play the game to get these things.
I totally agree with you, and I would love it if it was exactly how you said. People have to earn their stuff. They just have to make the character. They just have to do it. That's part of the game. I totally agree. But I am trying to think of it from a different perspective, in that someone doesn't have all these hours to play the game. They're never, ever going to have that much time within, a couple weeks to even make a single character without doing, cheat engine, muling, however you want to call it.
So you're saying there's people out there that cannot play the game if they don't have cheat engine?
They cannot make several PvP
They can,
characters.
but it would be less enjoyable process, definitely.
It would be less enjoyable. It would be more grindy. It would be an inconvenience, a major inconvenience for these people. And I agree. I'd say with you, my personal opinion is that, God, I wish that none of this cheat engine exists. I wish that everyone had to earn their own builds and just do it the old-fashioned way. I totally agree. But I'm trying to think of another perspective here.
And I think this is very fair perspective, because, yeah, indeed, I think, like, just Souls games are too grindy. For, like, the game that is partially, firstly focused on that, like, single-player experience that has the additional multiplayer components, I have feeling like the game is just way too grindy. Like, it's very hard to exist in this game and just enjoy it outside of that, like, regular playthrough, because it almost feels like the game is not designed for you to exist
for
within
more
it.
than your original playthrough, pretty much.
Yeah, and here comes Dark Souls 2, all in white, and being like, yo, dude, you wanna some upgrading materials? Here is the bell tower, just sit here, do some PvP, for every win you get in chunks. And that was so good, man.
I think the first playthrough, it's like reasonable. The first playthrough or first couple of like NGs, like most people, it's cool for them to
be limited.
Like what Law said, he wanted to feel like
earned everything.
Earned everything, right? But once you earned everything, like, you shouldn't have to constantly grind, like spend so much time grinding and farming, like it's such a menial task, like farming, killing birds, to have, like, I don't know, rope fire bombs and shit. Like, why isn't that?
They already did in the past with Dark Souls 2. That was very multiplayer oriented. Vast majority of things that were locked like they are currently in Elden Ring. On NG Plus, you have things basically unlocked. You can buy infinite amounts of things that on normal NG are limited. Everything was grindable. You are going to the arena, like you are dueling someone in the arena, and you win the duel. Oh, here, gamer, here you go, the cracked AR for you for winning the match. And, like, on the normal NG, you could just get these cracked orbs in the amount of only 10. You could buy only 10 of them in the shop normally, but you go to NG Plus and the amount is infinite from now on.
Would there be anyone, though, against the idea of, like, just being able to buy everything like that? Like, I feel like everyone wants a merchant like that, like an NG Plus merchant, or like something like this. Like, is anyone, like, against that?
A question. Would you guys be okay if somehow Cheat Engine would completely be unavailable to use it in the game? Right now, as we speak, as long as the things that we were talking about, so like a merchant that allows you to buy stuff in the game and so on, just would exist there.
Yeah, I think that's more a question for Oro.
I mean, I would say no, because I play on PlayStation. It doesn't even affect me.
Okay.
I thought you were on PC, Oro.
No.
Oh, fuck. Well.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's a question for me then, because I am certainly playing on the PC. Now, let's just take away the whole content creator thing, though, because I use it for thumbnails and all of that good stuff. So let's take that away. Would I be okay with it? Most certainly I would. If I had the ability to buy everything that I needed in the game, I would be absolutely fine with it. It would still take me a little longer to do my builds, because I would have to get the souls to do that. You know, I couldn't just give myself 99 Lord runes, for example. But I would still be okay with it if the game, and I would kind of prefer it if the game gave us these options, because as we have been talking about, I simply use it for convenience, and I use it for convenience after I have truly experienced it on its own terms. You know, I don't want to break the game. I think anybody that uses cheat engine before they've actually beaten the game is an idiot, straight up, because you are robbing yourself of a beautiful experience.
I mean, like, I think it's their choice, but at the same time, it's sort of just
idiot.
What are you doing? Like, literally, you're sort of like, yeah, you're robbing yourself of experience. You're not, it's sort of, yeah.
Idiot, fuckface, dumbass, poop monster.
Okay, that's
oh damn.
Okay, wait. This is where my monetization goes. Okay, listen. calm down. I am kind of like in the split here. From the perspective of the regular player, sure thing. But across the last year of Elden Ring being a thing, I have realized such a beautiful tool it can be. Lost, G, and Amir definitely have seen these. Or like, have you been watching some tournaments from the Duelist Event Network?
Yep.
Yeah.
The layouts, the freaking setups, like camera and everything.
Dude, it's beautiful.
Man, it is so fucking good, and I am so thankful, like, you know, for cheat engine to exist in that regard. It's just like, from the regular player perspective, damn, I probably would prefer if cheat engine wouldn't be the thing. You're eliminating the issues with the game, but at the same time, dude, I would so incredibly miss the good thing that cheat engine actually gives you. Kind of would like to finish with the topic of the cheat engine, just by saying that it's not like, you know, the answer to the question is probably not as simple as just like remove it or not remove it. Yeah, in my opinion, these games are kind of sandboxy, let's call it that way. Yeah, when it comes to the way how people play them and how to make them enjoyable to play. And reality is that, like, at the given moment, cheat engine does exist. It is huge part of the game. I am not sure if it's just like not better for everyone's sanity to kind of accept just existence of this. Yeah.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I clearly did something here. What do you think, like, it is absolutely fine with the idea of just like, you know, like, okay, like, I know that like a G is like, okay, it does exist, therefore like we just gotta use it. So ultimately we are all on the same side that like cheat engine does exist, use it if you want. If not, then don't use it. Just be mindful, yeah? And this is where we can end with this particular topic. We agree on that?
Basically common sense.
You know, be kind and respectful, and everybody goes into the game, they're like, oh yeah, that's cool and whatever. But then the moment they, like, they face a weapon they don't like, then they're suddenly in someone's DM sending like death threats or whatever. So like,
okay,
you know.
this is actually amazing, dude. I am actually, it happens so rarely in these games. In comparison, like, to me at least. Do you guys get in like hate mails often? I know G actually has like the messages completely turned off. How about you guys?
I was having too much. That's why I blocked it.
Like Lost and Oro, like, especially question to you, because like I don't know about your your inbox. How does it look like in your case? Nothing.
I haven't gotten hate mail for like 10 years since I made Quest for Hate Mail, dude. They know.
Okay.
They know I'm gonna make fun of them publicly. They don't send it anymore.
Okay.
People love me.
Dude.
I'm such a lovable, beautiful person.
Does it annoy you?
I don't want to brag or anything.
You guys don't play with lances though, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be happy that people are just like a more reasonable nowadays, apparently, or sad because the number is not high enough.
I have the same weird feel. I don't know what it is. I think on console, at least, it's been harder to send messages. It's not as convenient.
Oh yeah, because on consoles now, if you send one wrong word, there's a really real chance you might get reported and banned.
Oh, look at that.
PlayStation is pretty severe with that. So if you send like bad words, like it's very strict. Like if you get reported, if the person that you send it to reports it, very, very, very high chance that you might get banned for it. I know a lot of people who did.
Yep.
So PSN is kind of keeping people in check. That's
well,
actually
a lot of the BM that gets sent there is like there's these weird kind of GIF and like funny like kind of emotes, GIF, whatever you want to call it, and it's like images of like plushies and like weird shit. And that's usually what people send for BM. It's like these weird, like, cute plushies. Like, if you fight, like, some nasty gankers, they'll send, like, a little plushie as BM.
Oh, my
God.
Yeah. So I see. So, basically, PSN is more tame, or at least looks like it is more tame, because there is actual real repercussions that might come after you, yeah?
That, and it's a lot less convenient. It's a lot less convenient to send messages to.
You don't want to see what the PSN players get up to when it comes to like their chats in our Discord. Like a lot of the people that like just ignore our rules and just try to beef with people, like they're more often the PSN players.
This is actually like another topic that we can smoothly segue to. Listen, why PlayStation is kind of like fucking jungle?
Like, because I'm the king.
Yeah, that's actually kind of understandable. But so, why have such a monkeys in your kingdom? Like,
honestly,
how?
I felt the same way when I came to PC.
Okay, so this is the point of view depending where you are sitting, yeah, basically.
Well, I'm not defending. It's just that
no.
It's always different where you're like where you're not playing, but like for the most part, like having played fairly. Like a lot on both, even if I'm not currently playing Elden Ring on PC, I'm really confident it's very similar. It's just from the outsider's perspective, it always might seem kind of different, but I think it's fairly similar, honestly.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree. It's just, what is it? You know, mostly like it's sort of like the conflict between like NA players and EU players, like the fake conflict. Like on the Elden Ring PvP Discord, we like to joke about it like all the time. Like, and the same thing with like NA West players versus NA East players. Like we make fun of like the California players, but at the same time, like it's all like unserious. Like obviously, there's nothing really like inherently different between the players of these regions. It's sort of just like a way of like, let's say, venting things with like latency and being like, oh, I'm so upset about it, but you're not really that like upset about it. Like you're not blaming it on the other players. It's just like a fun way of sort of like expressing those things, and it's just funny to like joke as if there is like, you know, like PSN players are in a jungle or something. Like it's mostly a fun joke. Some people I think take it too seriously and end up like actually bantering, like we said, but like, you know, on like the RPVP server, we just mostly like mute people if they actually unironically are like being rude to people and stuff.
I have the whole document that is called Professional Cheaters in bracket PS Gang Ghetto Rabbit Hole, and I am going to link you this document because I have a plan to make a documentary video about people
PlayStation shitters.
Yeah, about PlayStation cheaters. Here is this document. There are like like I am collecting. I am essentially collecting the names and like the links to the channels and kind of like looking like, you know, further into what is going on here, because
don't give these people the exposure. That's the worst thing you can do.
You know, it's not going to change anything, yeah, to be honest.
Yes, it is. Like it makes it worse for us that are here. Like the moment you give them exposure, you give them power. It's really not the way to go about it. Like trust me, I've been interacting with these people for a while. Like I know how to deal with them. That's just not the way to go, honestly.
I can always, you know, just like not mention any names to just make this documentary completely anonymous.
Yeah, if you don't mention names, it's fine. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
If you do it like time long after like people like the community is already like dispersed and whatever, that's like another way you can sort of do it without, you know, really giving them much power or whatever, because like nobody really even cares anymore, right? Like if you were gonna do something on like the DS1 community or something, right, then it wouldn't really matter because like it's not like there's gonna like respawn drama or whatever. Maybe like some of the players mentioned there would be like upset loosely, but they've already like moved on by then. So yeah, like
I don't
hiding
think targeting
like,
people directly is a good thing, though. No matter like who it is, no matter what they've done, I don't think it's a.
Yeah, I am not a fan of this
leads
idea
to,
at all. Yeah.
good things.
Yeah, unless it's PP Verson, then
Oh yes,
you know,
that's
we
correct.
definitely
That's correct. Actually, like, I'm gonna do the segue in the moment to the another topic that I wanted to talk about. It's just like a little bit more about so-called cheaters. Yeah, I fell into this rabbit hole because I somewhat managed to get like recommendation where like one of these guys like exposing another one in Dark Souls 3, and then I started getting these recommendations, and dude, they are amazing. All of them like working directly on the PlayStation. They are like making videos through the Share Factory with all these amazing animations and so on. And they are like, and they are making like a, you know, they are all playing on the max level. And they are exposing each other. Like one is sending like a video called, let's call one guy John, and the other one let's call Sam. And one is making the video called Sam is absolute garbage at the game, get exposed. And the other one is like 4 hours later, I see another video from the another guy saying, Sam exposed me, but here is my counter exposed. Look at this bad player. And they are fucking like beating each other with like some sort of the random fucking kills, like in the fucking Gang City on PlayStation 4. It is amazing. These people are from different fucking planet. Like they are great.
One sec. You know what's funny though? I feel like Steel, your reaction right now it just speaks to me, because that's exactly like how I reacted when I first was exposed to this. Like the first time you see these people, I actually thought like these people were trolling. Like
yeah, I thought
like, back
too.
in Dark Souls 3,
Absolutely.
I thought they were joking because that shit was too funny to me. But over time, as I got to play with these people, I realized they're dead serious. Like there's really something wrong. But for real, like when you're first like seeing this for the first time, it is so absurd that you think it's a joke. But no, it's very real. It's crazy.
It sounds to me like this is one giant circle jerk, but everybody's using sandpaper.
I see that like problem with overall PlayStation players, that like this culture, this cheaters culture, kind of apparently reflects on people, because for example, even in that small competitive scene of ours on Elden Ring PvP Discord and so on, when the PlayStation tournaments happen, like people draw conclusion out of one round. Like, you know, like they are like jumping to fucking weird ass fucking conclusions. They are immediately just making some sort of the judgments and so on. Yeah, there is like you know, like someone like beat someone in one BO3, and like, you know, and immediately like, you know, this player is the top player, and then 5 minutes later, oh no, this player is the top player, and these people are fucking serious about it. Like it's just so like, you know, it's weird. It's wild. To be honest, I don't see that on the PC. Like, I did
on Dark Souls 3 when I played.
I am talking only about Elden Ring. Like, I am personally very happy.
Well, you're talking about PlayStation and then PC, so I have to make the comparison.
Yeah. Like, I have no idea how it was on Dark Souls 3. I can only tell how it is right now in Elden Ring, and I personally am very fond of the PC scene on. When it comes to the like so-called competitive, like I am fond, to be honest.
You don't really get to interact with the good people though. That's the thing, because you don't play here. Like you only see this like from the outside.
I mean,
so
I do just in case, like just in case, like people like Harseru. Like in Servin and so
Ark
on.
Doesn't even play though. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't get to interact with the people that play. Ark doesn't even play anymore. Hasn't played in a long time.
All right, I got it. I mean, like he goes on and off, yeah. Like he plays some, then he doesn't. He plays again, then he doesn't, yeah. But like I know they're like good actors. Like I am not like saying like the whole platform is fucking garbage. I just say that like I see it is more apparent that PlayStation players are more keen to steer drama for some reason.
That's false, though. That's just false.
Okay.
Because for me, most of my hatred, like toward like all the people that shit on me or whatever, people that
It's
don't
PC,
even
yeah?
know me, and it's from PC. Like,
Okay, so maybe
to me, from my
it's-
perspective,
okay.
it's just the same. It really
Okay,
is the
so
same.
ultimately it is like, the perspective, literally, like, it is all depends where we are sitting. And since I am sitting mostly among the PC players, then like I just like see mostly like negative like impact from the PlayStation, whereas like you see it the completely the other way around.
Well, no, because I played on both, so I know it's really the same.
Okay, so it is literally the same. That's in your opinion, this is basically just like these platforms do not really differ
It's
in the
like,
average approach, yeah.
It's like, you know what it is like? It reminds me of like people that are maybe a bad comparison, but a lot of times like you go to another country and then you come back to your own, and people ask like how is the culture there? Like, are people different? Like, are people like more kind? More. They ask about like a different culture, but at the end of the day, like if you've traveled a little bit around the world, you realize that it's the same people everywhere. Like it's just you're gonna get a lot of shit people everywhere around the world, and you're gonna get a lot of nice people everywhere around the world. It's really the same thing. Like it's not much different. One platform doesn't change that.
Okay, so ultimately, like it's safe to assume that I just have here like a particular bias of the fact that I just don't see the other side. I used to play on the multiple platforms in the past. In my case, sadly, like the experience was like, like that on the average, the PlayStation players are way more unhinged. But yet again, it is only individual perspective.
Bro, I want to hear your take on something Elden Ring. Like, I want you to talk a little bit more because I'm interested in your takes. But I mean, we're hearing is Steel and Amir going on about cheat engine. So I want to hear you talk a little bit.
Well, I mean, what do you want to hear?
I want you to talk to me about Elden Ring,
Just talk
but
to
I mean,
me.
really anything.
Talk to me about Elden Ring, no
Yeah,
matter
talk to me
what.
about Elden Ring, like.
I would say that Elden Ring invasions are the most fun that I've had in a Souls game since Dark Souls 2.
It's your favorite Souls game, no?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is,
Dark Souls
like-
2 is your favorite, but Elden Ring is second.
No, Elden Ring number 1. But for
Elden Ring's number
PvP, Dark Souls 2 number 1. Yeah.
What
But Elden
would
Ring overall-
Elden Ring have to do for it to be better PvP wise than Dark Souls 2?
Way more balancing. You know that half the weapons are absolute trash, unviable at the highest level. There's obviously problematic shit like, dual lance and other fun stuff that just way above the rest. Dual wielding in general. Just need some more balancing, honestly. But I really like it. Buff hammers.
Buff hammers.
Buff everything that's not being used, honestly. A lot of the things that I like about Dark Souls 2 is that you can literally use anything at a high, medium level, and it's viable. Like, it's awesome. The build variety is limitless. And this game has that potential because it has so much stuff. I've never had so many weapons and armors and spells. It's a massive sandbox that is just... It's whittled down to just a few things, and that's sad. And I hope that they balance it more and spread it out. But they're going in a good direction so far.
Right, Lost. You keep saying buff hammers. Like how? What do you want to see from hammers?
No, you don't understand. It doesn't matter. He's just a hammer salesman. It's even if hammers would be top tier weapons in this game, this is the sentence. This is the word. Like buff hammers would be still spoken from Lost mouth. So yeah.
My love from hammers, it's important to understand that my love for this blunt instrument of death stems from Dark Souls 3 and how I could roll catch people into oblivion with them. I don't expect the hammers to return to its former glory, but honestly, the weapon is too short, too slow, and it doesn't do enough damage. What I would do, and this is just my opinion, but it's correct, is that I would give the hammers the ability to do a 2-hit combo like Dark Souls 3. Give them that. Only weapon. It would make it unique. You could adjust the damage if so needed. But give it that so that you could use the extra stun to mind game your opponent, maybe get a few more roll catches in there. I just miss it so much. Gee, I just miss it.
He just misses it.
Yeah.
Do you get like do you equip the dwarves in Dwarf Fortress with hammers? So that's a very important question.
I do actually.
Okay,
I do
okay.
Specifically the mace.
Okay. You can tell that the love for hammers is true here. Like,
In fact, that's what I call my.
Oh,
okay, listen.
The mace.
Okay,
All the
listen.
time.
Listen.
Speaking of that, look at the stream.
Yeah, that's what
Speaking
I
of
tell my
that,
wife. Let's
look
experience some blunt force trauma together.
There's someone in chat that wants to ask you, Oro, your take on how we can grow the PvP community and encourage PvE players to do more invasions and maybe duels.
how can we grow the PvP community? Damn. I
You've
mean,
been
we're doing
around
a
for
lot with the tournaments and stuff. I think that's a nice direction. You know, it gets people
I
watching,
think we are
gets
not
people
reaching correct
interested.
audience, to be honest.
Yeah,
You
I agree
think
with
so?
Steel here. Yeah, it definitely could be reaching far many more people. There's far many more people that are interested in PvP that are just not watching the tournaments because we're not doing outreach well enough with it and getting, people involved in watching it in the first place,
So yeah, you guys are right. It doesn't bring in too many new players. It doesn't bring in too many new players to PvE. But I think like events and stuff like Twitch Rivals, the Twitch Rivals that we had brought in a lot of people, like tons of people.
How do you feel about Twitch Rivals, by the way, from the perspective of person that participated?
From the perspective of someone winning, go over it.
Yeah, it was
actually,
fantastic.
right.
I loved it. Best event ever, honestly. No, I think they could have done a lot better. Let's be honest, okay?
Like from
I think that they could have invited. It was a whole fucking mess. All right, let's be honest. I'm gonna leave it at that. They need to work on that for the next one. If there's gonna be a next one.
Didn't you use Bloodhound Step with the pre-patch BHS?
Oh,
and
you
Ultra?
bet your ass I did. I wanted to win.
Amir, what you wanted to say, Amir?
It'd be cool
So
is if
funny.
the Twitch Rivals people like actually contacted, like people who organize tournaments in the community and were like, hey, or like how can we make a proper rule set and how can we actually properly get people in the world and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
there was also, like, from the perspective of viewer, because I was watching it, it was huge mess when it comes to the commentary, because they brought, indeed, people that are, for example, professional commentators, but doesn't matter if you are a professional commentator at League of Legends, if you have absolutely zero knowledge about...
no.
And, like, and there was, like, about the game that you are just, like, casting, and holy shit. Oral, you didn't hear that, unless you watched the later, but... Holy fuck, man. Holy fuck. This fucking commentary was very off. It wasn't the best, sadly. Even though the commentators, like, I know these commentators from other games, they are amazing. But they just didn't work in this title.
Yeah.
Any memorable, like, one memorable thing about this Twitch Rivals tournament that you had?
Me winning.
Okay. Like,
I mean, it must have felt pretty good.
What was your reaction to seeing the picture of fucking pizza with the topping?
I didn't even see that until after.
You didn't see that till after, man. Like,
No.
so just in case, let me clarify to everyone else that don't know what I'm talking about here. The sponsor of Twitch Rivals tournament was apparently Pizza Hut, I think, or Domino's
Yep.
Pizza.
It was
And-
Pizza Hut.
And the MVP of the tournament had their logo just placed on pizza like it would be pepperoni. So you had like Oroboro pepperoni pizza like screen displayed, and I fucking died when I have seen it. I lost it. I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. It was so funny.
It's fucking brilliant. It's especially funny because I love pizza. I got a pizza
Oh, yeah.
fucking emote. I talk about pizza all the time. I order
Yeah,
pizza.
we can
I
high
basically
five
live
on
off
that
it.
one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's just a funny coincidence. Stupid.
Lost, since I'm kind of curious to hear your perspective because we don't get to chat like that very often. Like, what would you do to bridge like the gap between like PvE and PvP players? Like, how would you like introduce more PvE players to get to play and enjoy PvP?
from a content creator perspective, I suppose, I think I would have to try to do some more finger runs. I think content creators and streamers and all of that could do basically tongue runs or finger runs and try to get their communities to invade them. Because I'm thinking, right, what type of events could we do that bridges the gap? I don't really have any great ideas except for trying to push FromSoft to create events that we can take advantage of, because I don't see that many openings. We have a lot of tournaments, sure.
But yeah, this is community thing, yeah? What?
Yeah.
Do you think, Lost, that maybe reintroduction of just simple like rewards, like in the PvP, something that was talked over like bazillion of times, but yeah, like we can talk over it again. Do you think that would help, or it is just like copium of people that currently playing the game and being like, oh, we are not having like, you know, the actual legit rewards for the PvP, and therefore people are not interested in PvP?
I think rewards could help, but it's not something that would bringing the big numbers. I'm thinking back to my own experience, and to everybody should think back to their own experience. How did you get started with invasions? I read this really interesting account from a game journalist. I don't remember which one, but you know,
I think it was Extra.
Yeah, he said that at first he started out as a blue because he wanted to help. Oh, first he started out as a normal, you know, yellow phantom, white phantom, and then he enjoyed some of the combat when people invaded, and so he turned on the blue thing and he became a blue. As disturbing and ugly as those people are, they actually get to fight a little bit, and then once they have run through as a blue, once they really get a taste for blood and they understand that, well, if I'm a blue I probably will have to wait until I get summoned, then they go in and just try to fight as a red, and that's a really interesting progression. And so that, how can we help people take those baby steps? I basically feel like I'm some sort of drug dealer right now, dealing out free samples. Hey kid, you wanna you wanna get like 1,000 souls and a respect here? Well, all you have to do is go and kill that guy over there, and or 10 kill people, and you'll get the respect here. Yeah,
I think that's a good idea, though. The whole like incentivizing players with actual reward. It's so simple, but I think sometimes the most simple things are the best fixes. So I think again, like it comes back to our point earlier about like the biggest like cheat engine fix they could do would just legitimately just introduce the merchant to the game. I think we've talked about this on the channel a little bit. What do you guys think about a rune arc shop where, you know, we have a ton of rune arcs in this game. They don't really serve much of a purpose. Like, what about like if we could get a rune arc shop and then maybe even give rune arcs in the arena even? Do you think that would incentivize players? And what do you guys think about that? Still, go ahead since you wanted that.
No. I just, you know, since Compressor is going to mute it, so I'm not gonna do it, but imagine me clapping. Because that's fucking good idea. Right now, what I'm doing is just to not have this shitty prompt. I'm just dropping my fucking rune arcs on the ground and just, like, you know, or discard them straight away. Like, they are useless to me, essentially. If you could exchange them for stuff, that would be so cool. I'm not sure if... Do we have actually like legitimate system of trading though in this game? Like, I think like this is something that they would have to build up from the very bottom, no?
What do you mean build up from the bottom?
Like the system where you can exchange, for example, where something that is not souls/runes is actual currency. Like, I don't think we have systems like that in the game, no? Like
I don't think that would be too hard.
Actually, I'm bullshitting. There is a system like that in the game. The boss souls.
Oh yeah.
So they actually can do that. Then there is like something that can build that.
They have the technology.
I love the idea. That's my take.
Great idea. What do you want to see in the Rune Arc shop?
Okay, so yeah, I would say upgrade mats. Upgrade mats would make people actually invade, guaranteed. Give them slabs, like a 10% chance for a slab, or make it like 10 Rune Arcs. You know?
Larval tears as well. Respec.
Larval tears, God, yeah, respects. Dude, you know people would kill for... I'd kill someone for a respec.
We literally would kill people for respecs.
Yeah. That they would just be rewarding because so many people ask me like, hey, what do you get for PvP? And I'm like, fun? And that's all it boils down to for us, for PvPers. It's never been about the rewards. It's just because it's fun, you know? We just play because we enjoy it, because it's engaging, it's experience, it's dynamic, you know, it's great. But having an actual reward system, like you guys said, is perfect. That would get people playing, guaranteed.
Yeah, that would get the PvEers that don't necessarily like it yet to try it for the reward until they like it. So you kind of force it upon them.
You better like
them. Speaking of basically, like, if we are kind of on the rewards, man, Dark Souls 2 again.
So good.
Here we go.
The fucking dude, like, why they never introduced the auras?
Steel, I feel like you and me are the only people who are like, oh, Dark Souls 2, the best times, and everyone else is like, oh, what the fuck?
Okay, these fucking idiots again. Yeah, classic. But I legitimately, like, there's few things about Dark Souls 2 that would work in any of these games without the junkiness of Dark Souls 2, and one of them are auras. I was almost sure like that it's not going to happen, but I still had that one glimpse of hope that maybe with the introduction of the Colosseum, we would have the auras. Like, if explanation. So essentially you have the regular red bad man aura, like you have in Dark Souls 3, in Elden Ring right now, in Dark Souls 1. This is your standard thing, yeah? This is something that you have in Dark Souls 2. But if you are going to win 50 matches on the arena, if you are not 50 matches, win 50 matches, but if you are like plus 50 matches in your overall win ratio, then you are actually getting upgraded aura. From now on, you have nice small effects around you that are flying, and then if your win ratio is 150 plus to your deaths in the arena, then you are getting freaking glowing aura that looks epic, with the effects that I was talking about earlier being even more apparent, and you're looking awesome. And you have it both for blue sentinels and for the regular red arena in Dark Souls 2, and it is so great. And they never brought it back. They didn't bring it in Dark Souls 3, and now they didn't bring it in Elden Ring, and it's so sad. That was such a cool incentive to grind PvP for me.
No, I agree. It was such a great arena reward, you know? Like, even in Dark Souls 3, there was something. You got, like, the badge next to your name, and you could see that in anywhere when you get summoned in invasions.
And right now we don't even have that.
Now we don't even have that. We have a badge in the arena, and that's it.
About the cosmetics, would you guys like to see, like, more cosmetic type reward for an incentive? Like, what do you guys think about, like, armor shaders, like, different like color for your armor, stuff like that? Is this something you guys would be interested in for, like, a Rune Arc shop reward and stuff like this?
I would kill a man for any more a fraction of customization in Elden Ring.
Like armor.
Well, you got fraction, kind of.
That would be my most wanted feature. Like, even if they were like, okay, do you want to color your armor or do you want light rolls gone? I would be like, okay, I want colors.
Me too, low key. Like, me too, honestly.
Yeah, people are like are bitching because they're like, well, if they had that, well, then there'd be everyone would put their hot pink armor. It's like, dude, have you not seen the motherfucking creations that people have? They're naked and like bright pink still. It's the same shit. Is that not breaking your immersion too? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. It would just add more variety to the game, and more characters would be unique, and that would be awesome.
You've played Armored Core. You know how like deep the customization can go in From Software games, right?
God, they have the technology.
They have a technology is reoccurring theme here. It seems like.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, it's. Oh well.
That wouldn't even have to be a PvP reward though. That could just be a part of the game.
Yeah. That's
well, I think a Rune Arc, like, if you add like a Rune Arc shop, I don't think like Rune Arcs would, like, obviously it's easier to get Rune Arcs for PvP, but I think they should also add as well a more reliable way PvE wise to get Rune Arcs, like we mentioned earlier, like the sort of horde mode, like something like that. I don't know if you guys seen the latest Zio Storm vid where he talks about a potential like PvP rush mode that was in development. We don't know if it's going to come with the DLC or not, but something like that I think would be a good opportunity to introduce maybe more Rune Arc if they come through with the shop.
Yeah. I think they should always have something not gated behind PvP though. Like,
yeah,
if we were to do the slabs, and the only way to get Rune Arcs to farm Rune Arcs reliably was through PvP, I wouldn't like that. Even as a PvP player myself, I'd be like, I want the PvE players, if they want to avoid PvE, to be able to farm something and get it in the relatively same amount of time. I think that would be okay.
I do wish though that like it shouldn't just be like how it was in like in DS3 with like the menial farming of Covenant items like the fucking Dark Moons. That was just too much, and honestly like felt like a punishment for not going in PvP. Like you can have that incentive there in a way, but it's like it should probably be a more interesting way than that.
Okay.
What about there's so many bosses in Elden Ring like all around the map. What if these bosses gave a Rune Arc? That might be enough, right?
I'm surprised they don't, honestly.
It's because their Rune Arcs are useless right now. That's probably why they don't. It could be, that could be a way. Maybe the big bosses, the story bosses like Fire Giant and such. Maybe they could give more than just one. If the Rune Arc shop is expensive,
that would be a really cool idea. Yeah. I have a question for you guys.
I would marry you.
Oh, good.
Okay, here you go.
No.
Wait, what you mean no? Continue, please.
How do you guys feel about no solo invasions in Elden Ring? Do you guys think that if people Rune Arc up, they should be able to get solo invaded, or do you guys think the Taunter's Tongue system is working fine with the fingers?
The Taunter's Tongue system does not work at all. It is an annoying little bitch of a mechanic. Why do I have to first use one of those flowers, right, and then use the tongue? I feel like licking myself once should be enough. I don't actually mind it too much that I only invade, doubles. I'm pretty good at the game just because I played it so much. So in most cases, I still kind of have the advantage when I go up against two people. That being said, I think it wouldn't be too bad either if a person choose to use a Rune Arc to let them be invadable. I think it would be it would open up for more invasions, and honestly, I would love to be invaded.
Yeah.
Also, we need something in between, or some sort of setting or way to control the Taunter's Tongue in terms of its effect, because like people have constantly, like having no timer whatsoever and no choice in that. It's just like you're just fighting one player after the other in kind of like a dual sense. It doesn't really feel like it's just allowing you to go through the game and occasionally have this encounter or whatever, right?
And there's no time to make progress if you're trying to do like a Taunter's Tongue playthrough. Like you almost have to like rush in there as like there's someone constantly fighting you, but there's no like off time.
I remember
way too excessive.
The first time I enabled Taunter's Tongue was when I got into the capital, and it literally felt like as I was going like up the steps to where like Morgoth is or whatever, or Margit, like it literally felt like it was some sort of like special area where it's like you have to fight one player after another to get through or something, right? And that was like cool for the moment, but it's like I wish it would have I would have rather had it like on basically all the time, but just gotten someone occasionally.
I wish it just had the normal invasion timer. Like that would be fine.
Yeah.
And I wish you could turn it off too. The fact that you can turn it off is the dumbest shit ever.
Oh, while someone is in your world, it's awful. They should just make it so you can, like, while there's someone in your world or whatever, like an invader,
it's just
you cannot switch it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how it was in DS3 until
Counter-Strike is just fucked, basically.
Yeah,
a lot of issues coming from the. Sorry, I interrupted. I'm just gonna quickly add. It's just Counter-Strike on its own is an issue and needs to be completely reworked. I think Amir said that to me a while ago that it seems like they don't know themselves how the fuck this shit works. Because there is no way that someone in their right mind would leave Counter-Strike working like it is working right now.
Same with a lot of the other multiplayer mechanics, just the way they shut themselves off, the way they when you go between areas, but when you do basically anything, it's actively trying to not promote PvP. And that's the reason why I think Lost mentioned the blue thing earlier. The blue is legit the most inviting mechanic into multiplayer, because once you turn it on, it's on until you turn it off, and you're going to be pulled into any opportunity for online, regardless if you go out of the game, if you die, if you go to another area, that will stay on and you can keep playing the game. Everything else, you sort of just got to stay in the same area and just stay with it, right? Even the newly added what is it, searching, the summoning, what are they, the
Search
effigies,
everywhere,
right?
The Wex dust,
the effigies and the Wex dust, even the effigies and the Wex dust, you can't just put your sign out and then get summoned when someone gets you. You have to basically stay in the same area, or every time you warp to an area or the round table hold, you got to re-enable it. Or I don't think you can even enable it in the round table hold. It's why?
to answer.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah. It's nothing interesting I have to say. Please continue. It's just amazing.
To answer your question, Oro, how do we feel about solo invasions? Honestly, before Elden Ring came out, I thought that this would hurt the activity, and I think we saw that before they introduced Wex Dust. The PvP was taking a big hit. It was hard to find some activity before that Wex Dust update. So I think that did affect the activity a lot. Now, as far as Lost said earlier, when you're talking to people that are more experienced, it's not that big of a deal to not have to fight solo players, because it would most likely result for experienced players in boring encounters where you just run through them. But I'm also worried about people trying to invade that are new to the franchise that want to invade. Those people cannot really get a shoe that fits them, because they're only going to get the harder 2v1s and 3v1s. So that's definitely part of it, and
that's a great point.
I think one thing that could have been a good middle ground was probably introduce some sort of solo invasion in the dungeons and not the open world. Maybe that could have been a middle ground, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, that actually, yeah, Lost said, that's a great point. I never actually thought about that from a new player perspective. It's a lot more daunting to know you're going into a 2v1 or 3v1.
Have you seen
in this game?
Have you seen people like Asmongold try to invade? They literally just give up instantly because they get ganked and then they don't want to touch it again.
I mean, yeah, who could
funny. I haven't seen.
Who could blame them? It's horrible. Fighting ganks is not easy.
You definitely need to have some experience in order to go in fighting multiple people at a time, because it's not. You cannot. It's much harder to get lucky. Let's put it that way. If for a new player, it's going to be, you can get lucky in a 1v1, but against multiple people, it's going to be much harder to get lucky for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of the low time to kill in this game helps here, because there is a chance that you are just going to accidentally one-shot someone. It does happen, yeah. So yeah, that's something that that's something that because of the way how this game is currently balanced around, or not balance, it's just how it turns to exist, and how low the time to kill actually is, then it helps a little bit. That's why very often when people ask me what I think about the low TTK, I generally speaking from the overall perspective, I think it is not not that bad. I like the idea because it is somewhat also inviting to the new players, yeah, because like, you know, it's just everyone have a chance, yeah, to exist within that realm of the PvP and do something and just explode someone, and then they are getting their rise of the dopamine because yeah, they just want the gang spunk, yeah.
I want to add an important point to that, though. I think the thing with time to kill is I don't think the right weapons are doing that sort of damage. I think that sort of damage has a place, like you said, but I think it should, like, the one shot should come from the big hammers, you know,
exactly.
The very slow weapons, and
absolutely.
like the setups that are much harder to land. Like great sword should have more damage, and straight sword, at least power stance, should have less. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like
totally agree.
Yeah. Totally. But yeah, the low TTK is not exactly a bad thing. Maybe this is also a little bit of bias on my side, because my whole life I am usually playing the low TTK type of games, usually shooters in that particular case. But like, I do not see like big of the problem that the game doesn't have as long of TTK, like for example Dark Souls 3. In fact, I find it fine. It's okay for me. It just, as you said, maybe on different weapons.
But that means that I need to get more clips to put in my videos, dude.
Okay, you have a point. You know what? I fucking hate low TTK.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You bring the good arguments. So it's not hard to get convinced when the argument is solid.
To get back onto like the subject at hand, but yeah, like the time to kill definitely helps with it. In that sense of basically getting lucky at least like once in a while, like especially as an invader, just like there's so many opportunities where you can just catch someone while they're in PvE, and then like you hit them once and then they mash out of it and then they die, right? So like yeah, I think it's sort of like in an okay state right now.
G, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, is there another topic that you guys really wanted to talk about? Can be anyone here.
Yeah, so actually, I wanted... You ruined my smooth segue. So, yeah, but let me actually scroll up. So, guys, just in case, I have that list of topic that I brought up here, yeah?
Ooh.
And the first thing on this list is actually romanticizing bad weapons.
Yes.
And I brought it specially on the top because G really wanted to talk about. And,
I want to talk about it too.
And I think there is also more people that want to talk about it. So the question is, guys, what I mean by romanticizing like bad weapons? There is that thing that belief that you are not a good player until you play with the shit weapon. Very often we can see it in our comment section. If you are going to play with something like that is minimally better, it's like you might easily like get shot for it. But I personally think that bad weapons are just... It's not like there is no incentive for me, not from the statistical perspective. They are just not fun to play. What do you think, guys? Do you think that like it's besides challenging yourself from time to time? I don't see any incentive. What do you think about it?
Well, first of all, I want to suggest a name for this. We could name it Peverson effect.
This is so good.
Okay. This podcast is literally Oro dropping every 30 minutes fucking shit bomb on Peep. Nice. Continue.
That's just my life.
Yeah, I have seen it for like I don't know how many years at this point. So yeah.
Just that everyone thinks, Peeps a god because he uses shit weapons. And it's like, well, okay. There's no point in gimping yourself in a game where, if you don't want to, right? These weapons are so bad, and against players that have decent reaction times, they're not falling asleep at their keyboards and or controllers. Like, they're going to be able to dodge every single attack they have. Look at flails. Look at colossal weapons.
I'm sorry, I have 100% win ratio with flails.
Oh,
I used them 14 times.
It just...
But still 100. Still 100%.
I believe. Still, there's so many weapons in the game that just feel, like you said, just bad. Like, it's like people are like, oh, you know, using meta weapons, and it's like I can't blame anyone for wanting to use the better weapons, because there's weapons that do. A great example is fucking stupid Moonveil. You know, I love Moonveil, but let's be honest, the damage is nuts. And compared to something like a one-handed straight sword, you know, doing like anything, it's just the damage is just not going to be comparable. The poise damage isn't going to be comparable. It's just, there's such a discrepancy between the worst weapons and the best weapons that makes it, like we said earlier, this is sort of looping back around, which I don't like doing, but the weapon variety is just not there right now, in my opinion. It's still not there. It still needs some more balancing. That's how I feel.
Do you think the weapon variety is just like not enough at the given moment between different weapons, or just literally within the weapon itself?
Within the whole game.
Okay, because like what I wanted to bring by saying that is, it's I like usually the reason why shit weapon is shit is because it literally has no tools to do fucking anything. So like there is not even like a variety in the movesets within the one weapon or one weapon class.
Like stuff like faster weapons, you know, like honestly, like any dual wield straight swords, you could take the best dual wield straight swords and use them, and that would be the best. But even the shittiest dual wield straight swords are still going to be viable, just because they have the speed and you know, the poise damage and stuff to compete, right? It's the move set. But again, like, that's a problem with Elden Ring inherently, is that the dual wield movesets are just so strong compared to the one-handed movesets. Why the hell would you ever use a one-handed straight sword when you could just equip two of them and do double the damage and double the speed?
The power stance straight swords, like, this is also just kind of like a rumor from, like, you know, 4chan or whatever, but apparently the power stance were implemented like late into development. So what I think happened with that is the movesets were more done like artistically rather than with the balanced perspective in mind. So you have things like power stance spears and power stance straight swords basically having better movesets than their one-handed things, and then also having like, you know, basically 2 times the damage. And then you have things like power stance flails and hammers, which also share it with axes and are kind of like the most shit moveset in the game, you know?
Yeah. I think that's probably likely, but it's still a shame. I wish they would, I wish they'd just buff up one-handed attacks, honestly.
Yeah,
be
so
huge.
It's kind of like, yeah, like what he said, but I have like a lot of insight on this because like I see it all the time, and especially with like the tournament thing. Like in the tournaments right now, what we do basically is we restrict things that basically kind of get to a point where it's not only negating everything else, but just sort of, you know, removing fundamentals from the game, like it kills the skill ceiling, right? But we don't ban things to the point where great axes are viable, right? Great axes are not viable currently on the ladder in the tournament meta, right? But the reason that is because they are just not potent enough. They do not have enough frame advantage and various strengths to make them really actually usable. Like, it would not be entertaining. Like, it might be for like a one-off fun tournament or something like that, where you restrict people to only use certain bad weapons. But at the end of the day, they're bad weapons, and not just by their relative sense, but in the sense that they can't really skill express the actual like fundamentals of the game and the bones of the combat, because they're just not potent enough. They don't have enough to them. And that was the case with fists and stuff and size until they were buffed. Right?
Yeah, these small changes, yeah, they increased like the speed by 25%, and ultimately, like, Cestus right now is knocking on the doors of what we can call basically meta. It's like, you know, still somewhere at the bottom, but you can technically take your spiked Cestus, fight against the dual straight sword, or like, for example, stuff like Shanter or like other stuff, and you will be fine. You have possibility to win. You are not feeling as such disadvantage anymore. It's like some weapons just need that little bit of push to become interesting instead of being boring and fucking bad.
Unless you love to use bad weapons, do you think
He gonna tell you about them? Come on, what answer do you expect?
Well,
no,
I won't.
Okay,
I will stay firm and say that they need to buff hammers. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's okay to have a few bad weapons here or there. You know what? It's fine. We have one hammer in the game that does a stupid stomp before it hits people with its
Oh
heavy.
my god, the monkey hammer.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's fine. I think the problem really comes into play when it's not like one weapon here. It's you know, the whole.
Weapons.
Yeah, it's the weapon class that is the issue. But you know, sometimes we want to play with like a broken straight sword, and it's fun. Sure, go for it. Whatever.
Like the thing with the romanticization that it really bugs me, is the type of things where it's sort of like people feel hurt when they lose with the bad weapons unless they feel necessary to state, hey, I'm not bad, I was just using a bad weapon. And you are right that, like, obviously, if you lose to a player who's using a better weapon, you're using a worse weapon, that's not necessarily suggestive that inherently because you lost, it's because the other player was better. But you can't claim it's just because of that, or like that you're actually better for being, so cool, so Chad, that you use the off-meta weapon. Like, that's cool for you. But at the same time, you shouldn't expect other people to go for your weapon when it's completely unpotent and really just doesn't have much to it. You have to put an exceeding amount of effort and get exceedingly lucky to actually pull off something with it. Like, it doesn't matter how much skill you put into something like this. And beyond some, like, couple gimmicks or, like, lucky or special conditioning, they're just gonna be shit.
Like Vare's bouquet. Look,
Hey, listen, it's not bad.
I tried
bad, okay?
my very best to make that thing work, but honestly, I don't think you could kill a child with that weapon. A child with cancer. You couldn't even kill a child with cancer. You know, it's
Okay.
already half dead, laying there, and you will be belting it with the
monetization.
weapon. And no. Well, I don't care. It's not my video.
You guys are competitors.
Man,
you know?
I was so happy for a moment because like we
sabotaging our content.
we kind of started like roughly with, you know, skipping from the topic to the topic. For the last like more than hour, we have like a super smooth segues and everything works in the way that I won't even have to fucking edit shit. I thought so, at least. And then I have lost that by going, hey, yo, like, you couldn't murder a child, you know? That has cancer with that shit weapon. Like, dude!
We're 4 hours into the recording here. I think you'll be
Holy
fine.
fuck, it is 4 hours.
All right.
You have to go at all?
I'm just gonna say my piece about romanticizing bad weapon, and I think we'll be good after then. I think there's some sort of misconception with I think bad weapons. People know the weapons themselves are bad when it comes to like off-meta weapons, and because this game, like, people seek some sort of challenge when they go into Souls games, I think they think that bad weapons means it's more challenging, but they don't really understand what's like a fair challenge and an unfair challenge. Like, a fair challenge, it's where it's challenging, but the puzzle at hand is solvable. When it comes to like bad weapons, the puzzle at hand is skewed toward the problem not being solvable. So when you're trying to use a bad weapon successfully, you cannot really use it to its potential because the potential is just not there. So when you actually succeed with it, it's not because you did good, it's because either your opponent who did really bad, there was a mistake in there, or someone like got lucky. So I mean, I think that's the main issue with romanticizing bad weapon. Like, that's why I think you always want to go with weapons that can at least have some sort of skill expression, that has something to it. Not all weapons need to be the best, but at least every weapon need to have something for the player to be able to express their skill, at least to an okay level, which is not there at the moment. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say for romanticizing bad weapons.
Do you have like often interactions with people that literally just think that using particular weapon is skillful just because it is weak?
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
like it is my big problem with like kind of general misunderstanding of what is actually skill expression. Yeah, like the fact you killed some sort of the level 15 gamer in Limgrave with for an example like the worst flail in the game. it's literally like not a fucking like it's not expression of skill. It's something that kind of annoys me. And to be honest, I think we all doing amazing job at educating people about aspects of the PvP, and I truly believe like the stupid statements of this type are going to be more and more rare. The problem is that we gotta have to wait probably like 5 years before this shit is going to disappear, because currently we are living in the scrubbish world when it comes to overall the community of the Souls games. Like, you know, some sort of the fucking codes of how you supposed to bow before every fucking duel, how you're supposed to give this guy possibility to you know, to use the buffs, and this guy is supposed to bow 5 times instead of 2 because I don't know, like another reason why it's supposed to be done that way and not in the meaning, like all this fucking bullshit about like honor codes, all this bullshit about hatred towards like one certain particular playstyles that like some people find unenjoyable and so on. It slowly disappears. People like getting like more respectful towards that, like there are different people that playing the game differently, and like, you know, it's absolutely fine to play up to like how the game actually like gives you the abilities to play it. This shit is going to stay here probably for a few more years, yeah, before it's gonna be mostly gone.
I agree with you here, because I don't think we should spend any energy hating on anyone except for blues. Those people can eat
actually, good
fucking
point.
cheese grater.
I mean, like they are still delivery of the pots though, so that's nice. Me. Okay, continue.
Nothing. No, I was done. I was just.
Oh, okay, that's just remarkable.
If I can have a last on the whole thing of this, like I feel, yeah, it's the sort of goal-oriented thing where I think people get caught up in the discussions where like someone's like, you know what, this weapon's actually viable, right? Like this, like I got this on someone, and then someone's like, you know, wait, no, like that's just because of like that conditional thing, but fundamentally it loses. It's kind of like not non-potent, and like other things kind of like shut it down, right? It's kind of like a more gimmicky thing, and then people sort of get defensive on that. I think we just need to, you know, educate people and communicate better. And we can say, what is it? Also, things are viable in different ways, right? Like things are more viable in invasions, and things are more viable in duels. And then also, in duels, there's things that are viable in the sense that you can get away with them because they have a certain gimmick that will like knowledge check players and whatever, but that's different from it being like fundamentally stronger. So you can get away with something like a curved greatsword in the arena and do wonderfully with it. The same thing with the Knight's greatsword. You could win basically every single match if you're good enough. But you're not. If you go into a tournament, it's not. It's the moveset's just not strong enough. And just having that distinction and being able to communicate to people without people getting upset and like defensive, as if like you're sort of attacking their person by just telling them the reality of the game. If we can just have a community that's sort of like that without, you know, people taking it personally or people putting others down, because like that's another thing too. It's less like I feel like the anti-tryhard thing is much bigger just because there's more PvEers and more people that are not into the competitive part of the game. But there is also that sort of responsibility there as like PvPers and tryhards that know what we're talking about to make sure that we don't like, you know, just because someone's using a shit weapon, obviously don't put them down. I don't think anybody here does that, but like I have like seen that happen a lot of the time where, you know, someone just completely like dismisses someone as like
you can shorten it with just, yo, hey, reminder, be fucking mindful. Don't be a monkey. Respect others. For like, doesn't matter if they are playing in what you consider more sweaty play way or like, you know, or completely the other way around, yeah? We can all coexist and have fun together, yeah? Without making fucking brain dead wars. But yeah, like we are currently like on 4 hours, and I'm pretty sure like, you know,
I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm
like
hungry.
Yeah, we gonna
voices.
Pasta's gonna die.
We're gonna wrap it up. I just the last thing that I want to say, you know, maybe they're like sometimes like you have like bad actors. Doesn't matter if that's like a content creators. Doesn't matter if that's like a viewers and so on. But I am hella happy about this community that we have here, like within the realm of the Elden Ring or like Souls games overall. That we can just like just gather together, chill, make this type of talk, make content out of it, and just what is the most important, just spend time together and have fun by doing so. And I want to thank every single of you for coming in, and yeah, I really appreciate that, guys.
Bless you, bless all of you.
Thanks for getting all of us together, Steel. Much appreciated. So for anyone listening, Steel is the one who did the heavy lifting to get all of us together on that podcast. So big shout out to Steel.
For real, Steel's goated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm unironically really glad we have someone like Steel in the community, right? Like, what is it? It's the type of person I think we've been missing in Dark Souls 3. And overall, I'm just really happy
go
with
kiss him already.
Elden Ring it's looking, compared to the DS3 community, like it just feels much more welcoming, and feels like, you know, people are just being...
agree with that wholeheartedly. Yep. So much.
Yep, I feel it. Dark Souls 3 was cold, man.
Okay, guys, thank you a lot. And thank you to everyone later on YouTube and also here on Jeenine's channel for watching. It was a great ride. Till the next time, I guess.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
See you guys.